Before Megabot asks you anything, it asks for consent. That isn't a formality. And it isn't liability theater. It's a boundary. Megabot is not casual AI usage. It's structured self-reflection across sensitive domains: identity, trauma, belief systems, memory, and meaning. Those aren't prompts you casually experiment with. They're prompts that can surface real emotions, real memories, and real consequences. Consent exists because Megabot takes that seriously. When you give consent, you are not agreeing to be analyzed. You are acknowledging three things. First, that Megabot will store your answers as records, not chat history. They are encrypted, they are time-stamped, they are treated as your ground truth, not something an AI rewrites later. Second, that Megabot performs safety classification, not to judge you, not to censor you, but to recognize when a response crosses from reflection into potential harm. Most answers are simply stored. Some trigger a gentle resource reminder. Only the most severe trigger immediate crisis support. That boundary exists to protect you, not to monitor you. Third, that you remain in control. You can skip questions, you can edit answers, you can export everything, and you can delete all Megabot data permanently. Consent means nothing without an exit. Megabot gives you one. This is why consent is required before Megabot unlocks, because once you start, the system treats your words as meaningful. Not disposable, not training data, not vibes, records. Without consent, an AI guesses who you are. With consent, you define yourself. That's the difference. Megabot doesn't assume readiness. It asks. And if you're not ready, declining consent changes nothing. No data is collected, nothing is inferred, nothing is stored. Consent is not a warning label, it's an agreement about intent. Megabot is not here to help you feel better. It's here to preserve what you actually say, safely, privately, and without reinterpretation. That's why consent matters. Because when it comes to your inner life, structure without consent is surveillance. Megabot refuses to cross that line. When you're ready, you opt in. And when you're done, you can opt out completely. That's not friction, that's respect. When you open Megabot, you land on a dashboard. This dashboard is not chat, it is a progress-controlled workspace. At the top, you see your current state. Age is derived automatically whenever you tell Megabot your date of birth. Progress is calculated live. Answered, deferred, remaining, and completion percentage are computed from stored responses. Below that is the fastest way to begin. You do not need to answer every question manually. You can paste a journal, a life story, or raw thoughts into the text area. You can type. Or you can speak using the microphone button. Speech-to-text appends directly into the journal field. When you submit, the system processes the text server side. It extracts answers and maps them to structured Megabot questions. No answers are invented, only matches are written. Once processed, Megabot organizes everything by domain. Each domain appears as a card. The domain name shows what area of life it represents. The count shows how many questions are answered out of the total. The progress bar reflects completion percentage. Clicking a domain expands it. Inside, you see individual questions. Answered questions are highlighted. Unanswered questions are marked clearly. For answered questions, you can read the response. Listen to it using text-to-speech. View answer history. Export that question's full record. For unanswered questions, you can defer them. Deferring does not delete the question. It simply marks it for later. You can also read an entire domain out loud. The system queues responses and plays them sequentially. This works hands-free. At the bottom, Megabot tracks overall progress again. These numbers always reflect the database, not the UI state. Recent activity shows the latest answered questions with timestamps. Nothing is inferred. Everything is logged. From the action buttons, you can export your full Megabot history. Permanently delete all Megabot data. Deletion is confirmed explicitly. When deleted, all Megabot responses are removed at the database level. Megabot does not decide what you mean. It stores what you say when you say it and where it belongs. This is how your internal state becomes portable, optional. ACT preserves what you asked. Megabot preserves who answered. Together, they remove repetition.